Hey, my amazing artists, time for another awesome art activity. This activity is bubble and straw painting. So let's start with our learning target. I can experiment with bubble and straw painting. So what is bubble and straw painting? It's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of using a paintbrush to paint many different colors on our paper, we're going to explore using colors by creating bubbles and using a straw to help blow our bubbles and our paint around today. Now, if you don't have paint, that's okay. I'm going to go grab my art supplies and show you what you can use instead of paint to help us create our bubble and straw art today. All right, artists, here's the things that we're going to need to experiment with bubble and straw painting today. First of all, you're going to need a few pieces of paper. When it comes to experimenting, remember, we don't always succeed the first time, and we're just trying something new. So you might want a few pieces of paper just in case we make some oopses today. Obviously, you're going to need a straw, and I have a paintbrush here to help me with just moving some of the colors onto my papers. Find also a paintbrush, or you can use your finger as well. We're going to want some food dye. Now I have some assorted different food dye colors here. They normally come in a box that looks like this. You might need to ask parents' permission to help find that in your kitchen, okay? I have some small balls, or you can use some cups as well to hold your paint in. We're going to want some water to help make our paint, and also a little bit of dish soap to help make our bubbles as well. So please go gather these art supplies. Again, if you need help, ask one of your parents to help you find some of these materials and bring them here when you're ready to experiment with bubble and straw painting. All right, first thing first, my friends, we're going to make our paint that we're going to need today. Now, if we were in the art classroom, we'd be using what's called liquid watercolors. But because I know even I don't have liquid watercolors at home, I thought I would help you make some of your own today. First thing first, I'm going to use my small bowls. Again, you can use cups for this. And I'm going to pour just a little bit of water into each, just to help starting to make my paint. Again, each bowl now has just a little bit of water in it, not a lot. Then I'll go ahead and I'll add a few drops of each color into my bowls of water. About 3, 4 at most. You don't need a lot of color to help make your paints really, really strong. You can also use your colors to mix new colors if you would like. I'm just going to start out with these first 4 colors myself. Again, if you have only a little bit of water in there, you can just swirl it around, or you can use the butt end of your paintbrush to help mix up your paint a little bit. So I'm just doing some gentle swirling to help mix up my color a little bit. Mix it with the water. All right, I have my paint set up. If I like the colors that they are, I can keep them like this. Or again, like I said, you can mix colors to make some new colors as well. Now it's time to do a little bit of painting with our straw first. All right, I went ahead on my 2 smaller pieces of paper and I drew some pictures that I want to go ahead and add some straw painting to. My first one is of myself. I'm really surprised because I'm going to give myself a crazy blown away hairdo. And the second one is going to be a cute little hedgehog with all of its little spikes going around. Now, there are many different ideas that you could draw out first, such as maybe a cactus or whatever you would like to. But here's what I'm going to do next. I'll take my straw and my paintbrush, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to dip my paintbrush into a little bit of my paint. I'll go ahead and just set a dot of paint down where I want it to go. Then I'm going to take my straw now and I'm going to blow. And as I keep adding a little bit of paint and I keep blowing, it's going to create some fun and kind of crazy lines. Grab some yellow now. Giving me some crazy looking hair. Now, if while you're painting you find out that maybe your colors are a little bit light, like my green right now looks very light, maybe I'll go ahead and add in 1 more drop with my food dye just to make it a little bit darker. again, I can use my colors to kind of mix new colors as well. So if I go back to my red and add a little bit to my blue, they'll make purple. And there, I have some crazy rainbow hair. I'm going to do the same thing real quickly on my hedgehog, just to show you how that will look. And then I'm going to show you bubble painting next. Here are my 2 examples of straw painting. Again, because we're experimenting with this, just let it happen kind of naturally. You're not going to be able to control everything about where your colors go and how they end up looking. So try to pick something fun or crazy that you can do with your straw painting. I'm going to go ahead, clean up this real quickly, and then I'm going to show you bubble painting. It's time to try some bubble painting. Now, I am going to warn you, friends, that this part can get very messy. What you might want to do is set up some newspaper under your work area, or if Mom or Dad will let you, use a large baking tray and set your different paints and your paper on the baking tray to help keep whatever work area you're working on cleaner, okay? So, I have my different colors again. Like I said, I set those up before. All I need to do now is add a little bit of dish soap to them. I have a nice convenient little hand pump that I use in my kitchen, and I'm just going to give it maybe 1 or 2 little squirts to help make our bubbles happen. Now again, because this is an experiment, it's okay if it doesn't turn out exactly the same as mine, or if yours turns out better, worse, or different, that's still okay. We're just experimenting, having a little fun. All right, go back to my paintbrush a little bit, and I'm going to mix that in. You should see a little bit of bubbles when you're mixing it in, my friends. All right, now comes the messy part. I'm going to pull one color up in front of me, grab my straw, and I need to start blowing some bubbles into that paint. Now, if you're only getting big bubbles, you might need to add a little bit more of our soap to it. So I'm going to add a little bit more to help make it more bubbly. I did about 3 small little squirts just there. I'll go ahead and stir that in a little bit. Let's try again. All right, I'm starting to get more bubbles, okay? So I'm going to add a little bit more liquid. Just make this easier. Here we go. Perfect. That is exactly what we want to see. I have lots and lots of small bubbles. What I'm going to do is actually push my paper onto those bubbles and pull it off. I can see a little bit of color. I think I might need a little bit more food dye. I'm going to add maybe 2 more little drops. 1, 2. Not a lot. I'm going to stir it up again to get it going. All right, here we go. I'm going to put my paper down this time to see if I can do it this way. I'm going to blow the bubbles and they're going to fall out onto my paper. And wipe it off with your straw to really get it on your paper. Now you're going to have to let this sit a little bit with the bubbles on the paper to help really make it print. So we'll let this sit and those bubbles will slowly start to pop away. All right, my bubbles have all popped away. I can see I had a lot of liquid over here, but over here is actually what we want to see. That's bubble painting. Now again, this is just an experiment. So sometimes we might fail the first time, sometimes we might succeed. You might want to try a few more times on this piece of paper, for example. Maybe I'll grab another color and I might try again. Go ahead and add some more water. I add a little bit more soap. I'm going to add maybe 1 more dot of food coloring, just to make it a little bit more colorful again. Stir that up with my straw. Maybe I'll try with my red on this paper as well before I go to my next paper. So I got some more nice bubbles. I'm going to let them pop a little bit and see what happens this time. So my red is popped away and it's meant this kind of beautiful mixing kind of color, but it's still not quite what I was looking for. So I am going to try on my other paper. I'm going to move this one to the side a little bit. You see my table's a little bit wet. I might want to mop that up a little bit. This time though, I'm going to try again putting the paper on top of my bubbles to see if that will make the difference. I think I'm going to start back with my blue again. So I got a few bubbles, they're popping away. That's more of the look that we want to see though with real bubble painting. So again, I got to wait for those bubbles to pop, which they're already doing a little bit of. But that is what we actually want to see. So now that I've explored a little bit by adding some more water, some more color, some more soap, and I've decided that instead of pouring it onto the paper but pressing it might work better. So I'm going to try a little bit more, maybe on the other corner, and try some different colors and show you what it looks like when I'm all done. I tried all 4 different colors, and here are my bubble painting results. I need to let them dry a little bit, and hopefully they'll darken with some color. But again, this was just a fun little experiment in different ways that you can paint, my friends. Again, this is a very messy experiment, so either set up in an area that's easy to clean, or have some newspaper, or even try this outside if it's not too windy out, okay? I hope you have a lot of fun trying some different straw and bubble painting.